Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com, or if you're watching on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me, as he always does, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And Andrew, we're here for another episode of our UNC football ISO series, which we've been running out throughout the spring. If you haven't seen those videos, go check them out. You can find a playlist on our channel below. But before we dive into Beau Corrales, who's going to be the focus of this video, want to blast the promo we've got going on at our site, TarHeelIllustrated.com, which you can see there and you can find linked below in our description. If you sign up before July 1st, you can get free premium access through August 10th by using the promo code VISITS2021. That's VISITS 2021. And you get free premium access to our boards, and it is a great time to do it. There's a ton, and I mean a ton of recruiting stuff going on. There's updates in there every single day right now, it seems like, now that the dead period is officially lifted. We're in the thick of it right now. They're literally updating.
On Tuesday, Dina posted, I think, 9 updates.
Wow. I mean, what more could you ask for? But to see that, you got to be signed up. 90% of the stuff that we put on is either on the boards or is run as premium content or a premium article that obviously you have to be signed up just the same to see. So if you want to get a little bit more involved, want to know a little bit more about what's going on in football and basketball recruiting and interact with our experts of those two fields in Dina King and David Sisk, got to be signed up to our board. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity before July 1st. Like I said, promo code VISITS 2021. You can find a little bit more info on that in the description below as well. But AJ, let's dive in to Beau Corrales on this episode. I mean, I'll go out and say Beau's been one of my, if you know, for the time I've covered, Beau's been around. Beau's been one of my favorite guys to cover. You talk about just besides the what he can do on the field, really, really good kid, really nice kid to talk to, really good interview, really insightful. Just a good all around kid in terms of off the field and on the field. Now, Beau's a guy that's, had his fair share of injury problems at Carolina. I know last year was a big one for him, ended up having sports hernia surgery after the season ended. And we saw glimpses of how good he was, throughout his career at Carolina. I know Mac's first year in 2019, I thought Beau had a really good season. That South Carolina game in particular stands out. And what he's able to do as a big, tall threat in the red zone, throwing those fades to him. I know that play against South Carolina, like I mentioned, really stands out in terms of what his skill set is. Now, struggled with injury last year, make no mistakes about it, missed a majority of the season, also was extremely limited in spring, kind of recovering from that surgery and just trying to bring him back slowly. And we saw Mac do this with a few players and not even guys that are injured, Jeremiah Gemmel being another guy, using some of those upperclassmen, kind of letting them sit back a little bit because they've got so many reps, to bring some of these younger guys along a little bit faster and allow them to get a little more action during the spring. So that probably played a factor into Corrales being a little bit more limited in terms of what we got to saw with him as well. But he's definitely a guy that's still recovering. I think he posted a video on his Twitter a few weeks ago as well, maybe a month ago now, saying, I think he was dunking a ball, saying he was about 80% in terms of that. So still not 100%.
Dad put it out.
Still not 100%.
Dad tweeted it out.
Yeah, I saw that.
He touched his head on the rim.
I mean,
that's what it was.
You talk about an athlete, and I think that kind of goes back to, like I said, him being that corner threat, that fade route threat in the red zone, toss it up to him and see if he can go get it. There's no mistakes about it. The kid can jump, and we've seen it in action a few times. Now, focusing on what Beau's role is going into this season, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but overall on his career so far and what he's been able to do, I think Beau Corrales has been a consistent wide receiver since he's gotten here. I think he's a guy that's gotten better in the years that he's been healthy, and obviously last year was a little bit of a struggle, but I think what we've seen from Beau Corrales and what you get in Beau Corrales is he's a good guy to have in that wide receiver room because he's just he's a solid wide receiver. I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
He's not just a tall target in the corner of the end zone or a guy that can go up and get the ball. Beau can move.
Yeah.
Beau can run.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 80 receptions and 12 touchdowns in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. And let's remember, he might be called a super senior, but he's not really a super senior because he only played 4 games last year. So with the new rule starting a few years ago, 4 games, you could still redshirt.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have still redshirted because his first year, he didn't start playing until I think it was November.
Yeah.
Late October and November as a true freshman. I think it was the Miami game when maybe he finally played.
Mm-hmm.
And then his sophomore year, he was part of Shoegate, so he missed 3 games because they had the cancellation with Central Florida. They had an 11-game schedule instead of 12, so he missed 3 instead of 4 games. And he's a pretty good player. And then in 19, he played a full season and was really good. Mm-hmm. And then last year had the injury, so the Florida State was his last game. You know, the one knock on Beau has been the drops. Mm-hmm. Beau will make the greatest catch you've ever seen, and then the next possession over the middle, right in the hands, it'll drop. But the drops were going away, just like the drops went away for De'Ami Brown, the drops went away for Daz, they were going away for Beau. I don't think we'll see that as an issue with him this year. You're right, really good guy to have in that room. It's a young room, it's an inexperienced room, but you got to do with 80 receptions and 12 touchdowns in that room. A guy that can run just about any route, and a guy that can get you touchdowns in the end zone. A guy that can make the tough catch. He's strong. He can get up there. He can make those catches. Sam knows what Beau can do, okay? And and I think he's a great compliment for someone like Josh Downs. And teams are going to always have to know where Beau is because he's going to be able to beat you from a lot of spots on the field. And he's going to make Downs better. Where people say, man, they lost everything at wide receiver. They got this guy back.
Yeah.
And because he could do so many things, and because he can get you that possession catch, and he could burn down the sideline, and he could fade in the corner, man, he could do so many things for you. He just enhances that room so much. And you're right. Really nice kid, enjoyable kid to cover. Most of these kids are. Mm. And Beau is a guy that you'd like to see him be healthy and get a full season in without any interruptions, so you could just kind of see what he could do. There are people I've talked to that think that Beau Corrales is a guy who will be in an NFL camp in a year. Mm. And that depending on, if he can eliminate the drop problem, he's a guy that could play in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I'm not going to say that they're right or wrong on that. I don't know. I mean, I've covered NFL camps before, and Beau, to me, has looked like a guy that at least you'd see in camp. I think this year is really important for him to leave his mark on Carolina, to help move the program forward because they need an older guy in that room, and also to make himself an NFL player, much like Jeremiah Gemmel. I certainly think the potential is there. And if he has that kind of year where he becomes an NFL player, that means he's going to rack up some numbers and he's going to make the rest of those guys a lot better.
Definitely. Let's talk about that room for a second before we wrap this one up, and that'll kind of talk about what his role will be, what we foresee it being on this year's team. You got Beau coming back. You got guys like Antoine Green, who we've saw a lot in spring, who's been around the program for a while as well. Josh Downs, a guy that's expected to be really good. I think Matt called him the best receiver in that room. Joffrey Brown, a guy that struggled with a little bit of injury in spring, but we've seen glimpses of just how good he can be. I think he's a guy that's going to play a ton at that wide receiver position as well. And you've also got a few other guys, Emery Simmons sprinkled in there, that have, played significant minutes last year. He was a guy that really stepped in the absence of Beau as well last year and got a lot of reps because of that. Now, having a guy like Beau around, one, we've already mentioned, super valuable because he's been around. He's a leader in that room. He's a respected individual in that room. I think he's a guy that everybody likes as a teammate. So he's definitely valuable having that room and what he brings in that respect. He's also a guy that when you look at that room, pretty young. I mean, he's the guy that's gotten just a ton of reps. He's played a lot in his time at Carolina. He's been a starter in this wide receiver core for the past couple of years, and obviously wasn't just last year because of his injury. Now, what do you think his role on this year's team is? Because to me, like I've mentioned, he's a super, super important guy that I think brings a lot of value because of his experience to a very young wide receiver room.
Well, he needs to be a leader. Mm-hmm. He needs to be an educator. Those kids have to learn how to play, prepare themselves to play 60 snaps. Guys like Downs, you want to be able to play 9, 10 receivers, but if you got a Downs and you can get him on the field for 60 snaps, play him 60 snaps. He's that good. Beau can show him what that's like. Right now, the value of Beau in the summertime is huge because those guys can see this is what a starter looks like. Mm-hmm. This is how a starter goes about his thing. So he's going to be a leader, a teacher, an educator, but he's going to be a player. Again, he can run all the routes. He can make all the plays. He's got to be consistent, and he's got to show them the importance of trying to become consistent. Making the great play, the highlight reel play, every kid wants that. That's what we all simulate in our backyards growing up. No one ever simulates the 5-yard slant, catch the ball, go to the ground, and move the sticks. No one ever simulates that. Beau has to be able to show them to do the importance of that and everything else. And I think he could be that position guy. So could Emery Simmons, by the way. He could be that position guy. He could be the guy that catches the ball in the middle of the field and outraces people because he's faster than a lot of people think he is. and he could be the guy that just uses some of that grit and his amazing gifts as far as getting up in the air to score touchdowns. He's just a guy that can show them how it's done. Kind of like having a mini pro, a semi-pro in that room to lead the way for those kids. But he's got to back it up on the field too. And I don't see any reason why he won't. 80 receptions, 12 touchdowns. With all this inconsistency he's had to battle with in his career as far as health and what happened in 18 and everything else, and not playing a full year as a true freshman, expecting a red shirt the whole year, suddenly starts in the lineup, and at the time seemingly lost a year of eligibility because so much of it was late in the year. So there's a lot to expect from him, and I think he can handle. I don't think Mac Brown, I don't think Lonnie Galloway, I don't think Phil Longo are worried in the least bit about Beau other than staying healthy. Mm-hmm. If he can stay healthy, he's going to give them exactly what they're asking for.
Agreed. Do you think he starts on this year's team?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think right now, Downs, Brown, and Beau, I think those are the guys. I think maybe Brown doesn't. I don't know. Remember, Diami told us multiple times, Joffrey is faster than me.
And that's saying a lot because Diami's quick, man.
Go back to the Virginia game last year and look at Joffrey's touchdown. Those were the glimpses that we saw early from Diami. There's a lot of talent in that room. A lot of it's unproven on a regular, consistent week in, week out basis. But by the middle of the season, it may not even be a concern of anybody's. Mm-hmm. I think Beau absolutely starts on this team.
I think so too. Had to ask you though, because there might be some people wondering just because.
I think he's really good.
I think he is too.
I think he's really good. I think he can rack up a lot of numbers. Mm-hmm. He's going to be that guy that some dudes are covered. Sam's going to go, "Where's Beau? There's Beau."
Yeah.
And Beau's going to make the play.
That relationship with Sam is super valuable just because, out of those guys in that room, I think no doubt about it, Sam's thrown the most balls to Beau just because he's been around longer. So, yeah, I think Beau has the potential if he can get, once he's fully back healthy, if he can stay healthy this year.
He's got to corral the ball.
Yeah, just got to. Hey,
can't have the drops anymore.
Got to corral the ball. Beau Corrales has to corral the ball. That's good stuff right there. I like that play on words right there, AJ. But, yeah.
That was luck.
Yeah, that was good stuff right there. That was good stuff right there. But, yeah.
You connected it before I did.
You get it now, right? Too witty for your own self. But, yeah, I think Beau
no.
we could do a whole nother podcast on that. I guess we could, but we'll leave it for another day. But, yeah, I think Beau's got the potential to really – he's shown glimpses. He's been good for Carolina so far, but I think he really has the potential this year if healthy and can stay healthy to really have a breakout season, if you will, which could propel him to a better shot at making an NFL team and making an impact in the NFL camp. So we'll see how Beau does, but I think if anything for him, number one, get back to 100% healthy and then go from there. So we'll see how things go in fall camp and how that position group shakes out, but no doubt about it, Beau is a valuable guy to have in that room on and off the field. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. As I've said many a time, sign up for premium access. Promo code VISITS 2021. Just do it before July 1st. You get premium access through August 10th. Find a link to our website in the description below. And then make sure you go check out the ISO videos we have done and stay tuned for the ones we'll be running out over the next few days and weeks as well. You guys know the drill. You've heard me say it before. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell because we've been rolling out videos pretty much daily over the past few months. So if you want to be up to date, see when they come out, hit that notification bell so you get notification when they're published. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Thanks.